Let's see what we got. We on. Oh, yeah, we clocked in. Hey, what's going on, party people? Now, if this is your first time here, welcome. It's definitely a great pleasure to have you here. I go by the name of Lespri. I am a spiritual healer. And what I do here, man, as a spiritual healer, is that I help you to become Christ-like, Krishna-like, Buddha-like. And what that, all of these terms represents pretty much is anyone who has attained that level of consciousness, who have attained the highest level of understanding about who they are. So, for lack of better terms, for those of us who kind of went up the mountain and now we're coming down the mountain, to show you or to witness or to bear witness or to testify of what we lived, seen, witnessed, and all that good stuff. And this is the word that I have for you, man. And as a spiritual healer, and this is what a lot of our ancestors been doing, pretty much, giving you the sight, helping you to have a better vision about what you see, helping you to see beyond the veil. And ultimately, as I'm helping you to see beyond the veil, then now for you to fully see what's taking place behind the veil. And guess what? This is what now you become Christ-like. You become Buddha-like. This is a practical thing. You see what I'm saying? This is why, shortly I'll be talking about spirituality as a spiritual healer. Well, spirituality is the foundation, it's the core, it's everything. There's nothing else besides consciousness. There's nothing else. What we do is doing us, like we are reflecting all of us, ourselves. As a man thinketh, so he becomes. That goes for everybody. Whatever your understanding of what God is, that's what's going to display into your life. This is why when we talk about spirituality, this is not a belief system here that goes beyond that. If you're saying your God is better, or I'm not Muslim, I'm not this, or I'm this, I'm that, it's you're not looking at the big picture here. Because the whole idea of even to say I'm a Christian, well, what are you getting out of it? What are you making out of? I mean, what is it making out of you? First of all, I mean, that's exactly what it is. What is it making out of you? So to say such and such is better or this religion, what is it making out of you? Otherwise, if you're saying your God is better than that God, you don't know truly how you operate. Nor, I mean, so therefore that tells me you don't truly fully understand the impact of this God in your life. Whatever God you claim to unless if you're doing it for social or political purposes. And that's what you see in fucking religion. Those are political, social bullshit. The true knowledge, the true wisdom, it has to do with self. It has to do with the men within. And this is all of our lives, whether you know it or not. And that's also what makes you a conscious being too. You are a conscious being. Your life you can either build or destroy based on where your consciousness is. So now us as spiritual healer, we're helping you to raise your consciousness so that way, you could see better. You could see beyond the veil. In other words, that's the whole idea of helping you I'm setting you free from a limited perspective by helping you to look at yourself beyond just the physical. I mean, of course, we all need food, sex, whatever the fuck, dick and pussy. This is all part of life. I'm not going against none of it. What we're saying is there is more to you than that. And as a spiritual healer, those are the things that I'm helping you to become conscious of. And as you're becoming conscious of these things, and that's how your life changes. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, For you to be a guy, let's just say, for you not to fall for, let's just say, a fat ass, you would have to know more. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like when I see a bitch with a fat ass, I see the same thing you see. Shit. You know what I'm saying? It might be even more. You understand what I'm trying to tell? But that's not enough though. I'm saying all of that to say, when you understand, it's you can't dissociate the non-physical part of us. And as a spiritual healer, that's the consciousness that I'm trying to get you to become aware of. And when you start to become aware of that non-physical aspect of yourself, this is when, at this point, to know that, you will automatically change. There's no way you're going to know yourself truly as a spirit and still looking at this life from a physical perspective. And if you do, I mean, you haven't fully become practical. Like, you haven't fully become that knowledge. I mean, the information in itself will change you. That's what Jesus meant, and that's the idea by Jesus saying, "Eat my flesh and drink my blood." It's not a physical thing. And once you eat my blood, flesh, my blood, you'll become that. Meaning that it's almost like the same saying when people say you can't unsee what you see. It's a certain part of you once when you realize it's like your subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is not something you would know logically. This is another reason why, too, for you to become Christ-like, you would have to go beyond logic. We're not saying throwing it away, not using it, but to use it for what it's for, and not allowing logic to now take over your life. Because everything about life, there's nothing. I mean, there's some logical shit, there's some illogical shit, or some shit that could be logical on a different level. However, you want to dress it up. But the bottom line is this, though. Just like life, nature gives you all those organic stuff that you eat, also kill your ass too. There's poison. All those poison are natural like shit. Do you see what I'm saying? And this is why when you start to understand these things too, it open up your mind from a greater perspective. This is why now at this point, when the Kabbalion is telling you good and bad is two sides of the same coin. But anyway, it's the consciousness part of it, that I want you to become aware of. And when you understand, this is why they tell you, hey, man, don't be distracted, right? Or stay away from distraction. You got to lock in because your consciousness means a lot. Where you put your awareness when it comes to you can either open your mind up or it could put you further in or further more into that box that you're in. And I guess as I'm saying this is also to reveal to you that you are also the way. And taking accountability, it has nothing to do with, let's just say, blaming yourself or taking the blame. No, 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 no. What it has to do with is you acknowledging you partaking in your life. Do you see what I'm saying? Like I may not be able to, you know, um, stop you to say whatever you want to say about me, but I can choose not to listen to it. Do you understand what I'm saying? This is why when the wise ones now we understand, hey, listen, man, like I'm in charge of my life. You can say whatever the fuck you want. Call me nigga if you please. Whatever the fuck, because you're not gonna control my emotions. You understand what I'm saying? And this is where knowing the truth too, understanding who we are, seeing beyond the veil, understanding people projection. So you're dealing with all of these things, and this is what becoming Christ-like and becoming conscious of pretty much entails. This is why the word conscious is important. You being conscious of these things about you. And as a spiritual healer, in essence, that's what I do. And that's what spirituality now plays a big part in that, because that's what spirituality does, dealing with the spirit and you, telling you your story. And when you start to understand these things, and that's when Jesus was telling you, you know what? A man cannot live his life based on just dick and pussy. Oh, he didn't use those words, but you know what I mean. Well, I'm saying it. Based on dick and pussy, man. You can't. I mean, but you see people who lives a life based on lust. I mean, they're not inspired to be anything or anything greater. But that greatness has to do with their level of awareness. Again, you are a fully conscious being. Your life is based on your consciousness. The saying that says you know better, you do better. And when you become conscious, this is why then now you understand that you are the way. Who's going to give you success? Who's going to give you whatever the fuck you need? It's you. You have to put the work in. Then now you have people who don't truly understand that. Now you hating on other people. Because if you understand, if you were a fisherman, you understand, you had to fish, then, this is why knowing the truth is going to set you up, it's going to set you free too of this bullshit. This is why once you start eating from the tree of life, you develop a quality life in you. This is why this type of life is royalty. To be Christ-like is to find that integrity, to stand on sacred ground. This is why you need God in your life. Because it's a practical thing now that would also help you to change your life and inspire you to be better. Like they say, God has no limit. Well, when you start seeing God in you, then you start seeing shit. Or if you want to say, if you don't have any limit, it's through God, that's cool with me too. You know what I'm saying? At least nigga, you got something to do with it, even if it's not 100% you. So regardless on how you want to choose to put it, you are the way. And that's that consciousness that, as a spiritual healer, I'm helping you to become conscious of. This is how, as you becoming conscious of these things, then now you start to become aware of your habits. Then now you understand, for you to be successful, guess what? You would have to create a successful environment. See, this is where all of these things are coming from. So everything that you've been hearing that those motivational speakers been telling you, and by the way, this is why Jesus, and I would also call these motherfuckers thieves, not because they stealing anything, but because they're not giving you the true essence of who you are. But yet they are talking some good shit. I'm not taking away anything that they're saying. Keep getting up. I know Les Brown, I used to love this nigga too, man. You know what I'm saying? He used to say this shit. When you fell, if you look up, well, you can get up. You know what I'm saying? All that shit to get you motivated, but that has a deeper truth in it when you know who you are. And this is the truth that's not being revealed. And this is the essence that you need to go to. This is the kingdom of God. Once you go in there, that's what it means by once you have the kingdom of God, everything will be given to you. So already, as a spiritual healer, what I'm also doing here is trying to get you to see how the scriptures and life should go hand in hand. In fact, the scriptures, what you call the Bible or any type of sacred text, are there there's a manual, life manuals. How do you live your life? What to get out of it? Oh, and by the way, man, shout out to DMX, man. This nigga came through for, you know what I'm saying? Like, he had this shit. I'm gonna have to, I'm gonna drop it. I'm gonna drop it. He has this thing, he said, and today the shit hit me. And that's how I knew he was coming through. And then we were able to build on it. But I'll talk more about it in my next recording. But yet, the shit where he talked about, um, how the fuck did he say that shit? He said, to live is to suffer. To survive, well, that's find meaning in the suffer. Oh, man. That in itself is powerful. Now, that right then and there, he was talking some shit. That was some practical thing, of a man, and no wonder why he always stood up on certain things, on integrity and all these things. And listen, man, like, it is what it is. Again, it's one thing to speak of God, and it's something else to live a divine life. And living a divine life, now this is where now your life is based on integrity, on the fruit of the spirit. That's what it means. So now, when you live in a life that is based on the fruit, I mean, off of the spirit, then you that's what you're doing. Your fruits, because here's something else too, man. And before I delve into the conversation in itself, that we also need to understand, you become what you eat. It's what you consume. Hey, what's going on? All right. So, just like I was saying, right? So it's almost like what you eat, right? I mean, if you want to lose weight, we eat, for your body to be clean, you got to feed it clean stuff, right? Well, the same thing goes for your mind, to increase your consciousness. You would have to feed it too. So the whole idea, again, going back to that Jesus statement, that, you also need to hear, God's word. What this is referring to is that other part of you, for you to become fully conscious or to be the perfect man. And that's what that means, by the way. It has nothing to do with being flawless, or, because, and besides, I don't even know why we even use that type of metric, and even for people to be afraid of making mistakes. Like, this is you living in your mind, because the reality and the truth is we get better by making mistakes. So how much of a mistake is a mistake if you're learning from it? And this is the actual reality that we go through. If you're learning how to play any type of instrument, you're gonna start off pretty bad. Your fingers, I know for me, when I was, what I'm saying, then over time you build your, what I'm saying, strength through your fingers, and then it comes easier. And that goes for everything. This is why the men, like the professionals, like even guys like you used to hear, like Kobe Bryant would practice a whole lot. Well, shit, how else do you get better? The amount of devotion, because you can only be as good as you want to be. Here's something else too. Again, you are the way. You can only be as good as you want to be. How good do you want to be? Because there's always going to be room for you to improve, and so therefore, falling, it's not something we should even be holding. It's not something we should even hold account against us, because it's needed for us to grow. And but for you to start, even to start seeing, or to develop that inner understanding, even to see it from this perspective alone, that's why it's important for you to, become more conscious, more aware. Okay, this is painful, but I was also able to learn. So you learn how to put up with your pain, not by, neglecting your pain, but by understanding that it's needed. When you go to the gym, you working out, you doing whatever the fuck you're doing. You're not neglecting if something's heavy. You acknowledge it. You get better for you to get stronger, so you could lift it. Isn't that what most people do? I mean, I know at least for me, that's what I used to do. Do you understand what I'm saying? Oh, this is heavy. So let me go a couple push-ups. I got to eat more, or whatever the circumstance is that is required for you to do it. And then you also understand, well, if you lift heavier, well, you're going to get stronger, whatever you're going to get out of it. So when I'm speaking of you have to put up with pain, it's not to a point where you're neglecting it or you're trying to suppress it. But putting up with it is understand that you need to have it. And we all gonna have it, but at the same time, this is the awareness that you need to have. It's almost like you got to be aware of your own awareness. And this is what we do as spiritual healer. This is why the key, I mean, the whole thing is for you to be conscious. The name of the game is consciousness. I think there's a saying that says where you put your attention. I mean, I can't recall exactly how it went. I think whatever grows wherever you put your attention. Again, that goes to show you, again, what are you feeding yourself? Your attention, your awareness. Where do you hold it? And that's the beholder. In one of my recording, I talked about behold of the beholder. That's the consciousness, that we need to become aware of. That's what you need that's what that needs to be awakened in you. And as now you start to become aware of these things, then this is where your accountability also comes into. Now, as you're becoming conscious of the non physical aspect of yourself, the subconscious mind, then now you start to realize, oh, okay, this is where that came from. And as you're becoming more aware of that, you also have the ability of reprogramming it. But the minute you acknowledge it, that in itself, it's big. Because just to acknowledge it in itself, it's almost like, if there's a pattern, it's almost like now at this point you definitely have a hold on it now. And unfortunately, this is why in our culture, in the black culture, unfortunately, that's why, we always think therapy in so many ways is something bad, but that's not the case because it allows you to acknowledge the things that you don't see or unaware about you. Then as you do so now, then now you have the ability to change it, make it better, or you have better control over it as a whole. So this is why, again, we are all conscious beings, and your life is based on your consciousness. And as you become aware of that, again, conscious of that, again, I know for me, this is why, okay, I have to create a pattern, making sure that I'm always learning, getting better, and doing all of that, improving. And guess what? That comes with adversity and all these things. And because I understand that too, now it puts me in a better position for me to handle it. And just like the guy who's now at the gym, understanding, okay, I have a game plan now. It's all needed. Do you understand what I'm saying? And even some people will tell you that too. Like if you have the last rep, just do another one again because you're breaking that pattern in your mind. Then you're no longer afraid, or now you know you could go further, or whatever the actual situation is. But again, that goes to show you, adversity All of this shit. This is what this life is all about, man. And again, depending on how aware you are, then you can either understand that it is to your advantage. In other words, that's what people are saying. Things didn't happen to you; it happens for you. But if you have not grown into that consciousness, then now you wouldn't be able to see it that from that perspective. Then now it's adversity, life is against you, life is fucked up, and everything else. This is why your perspective, your awareness, your consciousness, and the level of consciousness that you have is vital. And to become Christ-like, what you have to do now is attain that highest level of understanding. Meaning, you would have to know who you are, not just from a physical perspective, but also from a non-physical perspective. This is now where your spirit comes in. This is where now your subconscious is. This is where your meditation is in. This is where your prayers comes in, opening up your third eye, doing all those fly shit that you hear about spirituality. Then this is why now you understand you need to do these things as well. And as you're doing them, I know for me at least, I could tell you this: it's almost like you're living in that transition or transcend. I'm always having issue with that word, man. Uh, 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 Transitional, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm always having issue with this word, but then you understand how transcendent. Not just the knowledge is, but you also will become transcendent as well. I mean, the connection. It's almost like you also get to realize that you're not as physical as you think you are. Even to look at your body, as it is within, so it is without. Do you notice depending on the level of consciousness that someone is, it would reflect their physical body too. I know at least for me, that is true. It was almost like, there was a part of me as I became that character, right? And then it reflected in me. It reflected outwardly. So that goes to show you even your body too. But not just that, our body's constantly changing. They say every 7 years, whatever the fuck, your what do you call that? You get new not DNA, well, DNAs too. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. And when you fully become Christ-like, shit, trust and believe your DNA will fully, man. Okay, that's a whole other conversation. But anyway, going back to what I was talking about here in terms of consciousness, you are a conscious being. So as a spiritual healer, that's what I'm truly helping you to become conscious of. And as you become conscious of that, guess what? You become it. I mean, you start to see how, it's reflecting, it's being, I mean, you it is an experience. Like you become that. So, real quick, gotta take a little dazzle, you know what I'm saying? Razzle dazzle. You know what I'm saying? A little something, something. I gotta get a little something for myself. Uh, what's going on here? Where's the lighter? Uh, uh, Stop it. Hold on a second here. Hmm. Food of the gods, baby. Hmm. 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 You understand? And speaking of that consciousness too, this is why Does it matter how much money you got if you're not as if you don't have if you're not aware of yourself in that level? And not just that, and not being aware of yourself too. This is why you do your shadow work. Okay, let me I'm gonna break some shit down. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The reason why, you see, you're dealing with the on a spiritual level, you're dealing with the non-physical aspect of yourself. This is why some of the basic things that you would learn from any spiritual occultist book is to get you to become aware of your of your subconscious mind. Because what this is doing now is the introduction into what you don't see. To the men within that is operating behind the scene that you're not aware of. So you now thinking that you're the sheriff in town, but yet there's no connection between, if you want to call it your higher self, and the lower self, which is the part of you that consists of your what you're aware of, your consciousness right now, this part of us that is active or that you're aware of. And as now you make that connection with that other side, oh my God, man, I'm telling you, man, it's something else. But anyway, so the whole aspect of now giving you that introduction, and then now they telling you you have to do your shadow work. The whole idea is for you to become aware of what was taking place in the shadow, meaning that you were not aware of, and how they have an impact or they impacted you. That's what you do when you go see a fucking therapist. That's why this nigga's asking you about what happened when you were a child, trying to have a better understanding of where you may have those hidden pain that you haven't dealt with or you haven't fully embraced. That would be considered your dark side because it's the part of you that you don't see. Now, here's what we also came to understand: the part that you don't see about you is the part that rules you. That's why you're being triggered at times, and you may not be aware of what is it that you're being triggered, or if you know what you're being triggered of, and most people will say, you know what, I just don't know, man. When I hear that, I just lost it. But what's really taking place, there's someone else letting you know, hey, man, acknowledge me over here. And that's what happens with a lot of people too, because you don't aware of that. You're not aware of yourself, so therefore you don't know when you're projecting or not. You know, and this is why too. Okay, I'm not gonna give that one away though. But anyway, then that's why you have to become conscious of you. In one of my recording, I was talking about projection in a way of I talked about how Eddie Murphy is one of my idols, for lack of better terms. What I'm saying is one of the guys that I loved early on, still do, but what I'm saying early on by that, what I'm trying to say is that I didn't understand why I love that guy, but as I became more conscious of myself, then I realized, guess what? Ironically, I'm doing the same thing that he's doing, not the way that he did it. I'm not a stand-up comedian or none of that shit. But here I am in so many words telling you the truth, not holding anything out. Here I am, a spiritual guy. I'm smoking my shit. I'm drinking water now, but I do drink too. Shit, speaking of okra water, you know what I'm saying? Get into that one. Mm. Here I am. You know what I'm saying? Yet telling you the truth. So in so many ways, as I got to know myself, he was a guy, at his very early age, who was not afraid of being who he was. And then when I started to see that, I'm like, oh no, I mean, me too. I mean, although I didn't go that route. But do you see what I'm saying? I'm saying all of that to say, then I start to realize, it was me projecting. And that's what a lot of us do. This is why when you understand that, you need to have your idols too, because they also help you to somehow awaken that side of you. Because through him, this is why they tell you to be the light of the world. Through your light, you can give somebody else's light. Because through him now, I didn't know what is it that I stood for, what is it that I represented. And then guess what? But I saw that I loved it. Me seeing it and loving it, not even knowing how and what I got to do with it, it was already showing a big part of me. So dealing with your shadow self, dealing with the men within and becoming conscious, that's what you becoming conscious of. So again, but I'm also saying that to let you know, man, consciousness is the name of the game. To see beyond the veil. And in fact, what we're talking about, listen, man, life lesson, the experiences that we're going through in life, that's exactly what it is. That's what we're learning from. Those are the lessons. Those are the insight that we are somehow inquiring. You know what I'm saying? And that's what's neat. That's how you grow too. That's why you want to listen to someone who see more than you, right? Well, they have two eyes like you do too. What is it that they see that you don't fucking see? So again, life is not as physical as you think it is. See, these are the things that you have to become a lot conscious of. So when they telling you you are a spiritual being having a human experience, then now you fully understand what it means. Then now you understand for you to see out there, you have to go within. In other words, what you think you're gonna look for, you're gonna get from the outside, it's not outside of you, it's inside of you. And this is the truth. And here's something else too. This is what a lot of us gonna have to wake up to. But first, as you understand that, this is what the focus should be for you now, to increase your consciousness. Because you'll get better by increasing your consciousness. I mean, we are forever changing, evolving. We are the beginning and the end, the Alpha and the Omega. You are the brother, a father, a cousin. You are all of it in one. Your mom, she's a sister. Your mom, she's an aunt. She's a cousin. There's so many different aspects to us. See, those are the things you have to become conscious of. And that's what the whole thing about becoming conscious or becoming Christ-like is all about. So now, I guess, that's the message. I just wanted to drop in real quick because oh man, I've been in, man, that meditative state, man. Oh, I'm working for you guys, man. I'm working. But anyway, it's been a blessing. That's all I wanted to talk to you guys about. I'm not gonna keep you guys too long. Um, again, you are a conscious being. And that in itself, you need to become conscious of that too. All right? And I'm gonna leave it here, man. I see. But I always gotta leave you with something. I mean, as if that was not enough, right? Anyway, that's what we do here, man. To give is to receive. This is breaking bread. This is, connecting. This is serving the community to me. Anyway, all glory to, everything. You, me, everything. For you to do, you have to be. If you're not true with yourself, you're always going to be false to somebody else. And if you're false to you, you can never be true to somebody else. And always, the remedy of the pain is in the pain. I sin. Bow. Now I'm letting you go.